Say a very, very hearty and delighted welcome to every one of you. We are so excited. This is a first. This is truly a first for all of us. And I'll have each of the staff introduce themselves. But I want to say that we have all been involved in earlier versions of the program in terms of training, but we've never done this before. We have never combined online and face-to-face learning. So this will be a new venture for all of us. I'm going to just quickly introduce myself. You have bios. Hopefully, every one of you will put your little bio up in the space provided. Alan will be showing you later. I'm Cerise Lamb, and I am calling in from Alexandria, Virginia, which is just 10-15 minutes south of Washington, D.C. So first, may I ask the rest of the staff to introduce themselves?
Let me interrupt a second. I'm sorry. I'm still not seeing Anita.
You're not?
I'm not, and I'm not seeing her on the list. So it could be that we have someone who's calling on the phone and computer, and that's why we have a number of 18. But I don't see Anita.
No, Anita's not on.
Yeah.
This is Elena, and I communicated with Anita last night, and she said she was going to be on, and she's on the west coast of the United States. So,
Alan, could you send her another invitation?
I already sent her an email to remind her of the information, and that the 18, you're right, is probably me because I am calling in from the phone as well.
So, Kathleen, would you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I know some of you. It's good to see you here, especially those of you that I interviewed. Werner, it's good to see you. And Deepak, it's good to see you. And I'm looking forward to meeting everyone. I am calling in from Oakland, California, which is about 20 minutes north of San Francisco.
And Rihanna?
Brianna Moore. Hi, everybody. Hi, Pietro. Nice to see your face. And I'm calling in today from New Mexico in the United States, in the southwestern United States.
And I'd also like to ask Alan to introduce himself to the group.
Sure. I'm Alan Klein. I've been an NTL member since '97, been around NTL since I was 6 months old when my father took his first lab, and then became an NTL member until he passed away a few 10 years ago now. And I am one of the co-stewards of the Core Lab Hub. And so it is that lab, that hub that is sponsoring this training. And I'm also serving, it's a show of the sad state of NTL that I am the technical guru at NTL. And so I'm functioning as the technical guru for this project, and that'll also participate in the early development of the materials.
Okay, actually what we'd like to do to keep this as brief as possible is just have you say who you are and where you're calling from, and we'll have opportunities to talk more later. I did have a list with everybody here and I can't see it anymore. So
click on participants at the bottom.
Say again?
Click on participants at the bottom.
I did. And I still don't
slide
have
the participants out
It'll
to the
be
right.
to your right.
Okay, anyhow, I'm going to start and then you can all help me. I'm going to call on those who I can see. Elena, would you start?
and I believe Anita is here.
Yeah, yay.
Yeah.
So I'm Elena, and I reside in Woodside, New York, USA.
Okay. And Saleh, would you correct me if I'm not saying your name right?
You almost right too. My name is Saule. Can you hear me?
A little louder.
I'm trying to almost scream. My name is Saule, and I'm based in Netherlands.
Netherlands. Thank you. And Harry?
Yes, hi. I'm Harry Hudson. I'm calling in from Essex, New York on Lake Champlain.
Thank you. Julie?
Julie's here. Julie's calling in from Longmont, Colorado, so I'm about 8 hours north of the person from New Mexico.
And Werner?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Werner. And I'm calling from Claremont, which is in California, about 30 miles east of LA.
Yes. That's where my wedding ring comes from, Verna. And Timothy.
Hi, good morning. Hi, I'm Timothy. I'm from Atlanta, but I'm calling in today from Newport Beach, California, where I'm attending a conference.
Nice. And Costin?
Hi, I'm Costin Platon. I'm calling in from also from the Netherlands. I'm like 60 kilometers away from Amsterdam, actually.
Oh, okay. And Pietro?
I'm Pietro, and I'm calling you for the place where every one of you would love to be, and it's Milan, Italy. And it's Fashion Week going on, and so you're more than welcome just to come if you want to take. If you leave the call and take a plane, I think no one else will get offended.
And thank you. And Carla?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
This is Carla Dancy Smith. I'm calling in from Silver Spring, Maryland, which is close to Washington, D.C., but I know nothing about the politics here. Good morning.
And Karen.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Karen, and I'm calling in from Alexandria, Virginia, which is about 10 miles south of Washington, D.C., but might take you an hour or two to get there on a bad traffic day.
And Anita.
Hi, everyone. This is Anita, and I'm calling from Seattle, Washington today, the other Washington. Or the progressive Washington.
And Deepak? There.
Uh-oh.
We can't hear you, Deepak. Are you muted?
It's just sort of garbled.
Yeah.
I can't hear anything.
But you look wonderful, Deepak.
He's not talking, I don't think. He's just sitting there breathing, so maybe he's not hearing.
Deepak is in Santa Clara, California, I think.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
There he is.
Okay, I just took off my Apple headphones and it worked. Yes, Apple doesn't work with Windows. So, okay, so I'm calling in from California. I'm right now in Fresno. This is a town I've come here for my school. So, hello there.
And Fadi?
Yes, I'm calling you from a place where none of you would like to be at, which is in Jerusalem, Palestine, Israel. And I think I'm the farthest to the east.
I think so. Now I have lost it. Who have I not called on yet?
Becky and John Hubble.
Great. Can we hear from Becky and John?
Hi, this is Becky. I am in Fulton, Maryland, which is near Columbia, right between Baltimore and Washington, D.C., so I'm another East Coaster.
Thank you, Becky. And John?
Just down the road from me.
Coast. Just another 20 miles west of Washington, D.C.
And where is that, John? I missed.
Call it Dulles Airport, basically.
Oh, okay. Sure. You can
Well,
say
that is all of us, except for Richard Dick, who is not able to be with us today. I am sad to say that we had to close registration when we still had, I think it's up to 5 or 6 now, people who wanted to be part of this. But for various reasons, including logistics, we needed to keep it to a manageable size this first time around. On the other hand, we are going to try our best to offer another option as soon as possible. So that's the very exciting news. We are, out of our 16 members, 13 of you are NTL members. 3 of you are not. Both the NTL members and the non-NTL members go through exactly the same process from start to finish, including the evaluation process. The only difference is that those of you who are NTL members and who want to qualify to become staff for our human interaction labs, a copy of your evaluation goes into an official file with Alan and Sukari Pinnock, who are our Core Lab Hub stewards. But other than that, it's exactly the same process. So what I'd like to say is that we are going to be, and Alan, I may need, nope, I don't need help, hold on. I'm new at all of this sharing of screens, etc. There, oh good, I'm so happy. We are going to be spending a lot of our time on these 4 competency areas, which have remained the same through all of our various versions of the Train the Trainer programs in NTL, because these are the 4 areas that we think are most essential in terms of really being able to be effective in facilitating T groups. So we will be spending 1 month on each of these 4 areas: facilitating T groups, managing diversity and inclusion dynamics, designing and delivering experiential learning sessions, and preventing, recognizing, and responding to distress reactions. Those of you who have been through some of our earlier programs will probably recognize those competency areas. I think what you'll find is that we're going into them in much more depth in this program than we have in the past, and we're very excited about that. What we will be doing each month is using a variety of learning activities. We have 2 webinars devoted to each of the 4 competency areas. We have online reading along with study questions. We will be using some YouTube videos. We'll be working with case studies, and you'll have a learning partner that you will share some of that with. There will be opportunities for you to post some of your responses on the website and learn from each other. And we also will be asking you to do some written reflection. So those are our 4 competency areas. I just want to remind you, our webinar schedule has been posted as early as we could possibly do it. Talk about herding cats. This was a prime example of herding cats to get all of the staff together to have webinars on certain dates. So these are pretty much set in stone, and we do ask that you attend all of them. If you must be absent from a webinar, it will be recorded, but we would like you to do it only for very serious reasons, because it's not just you, it's also the rest of us who get impacted if you're absent, because we will be doing interactive things on these webinars. So we're hoping very much that you can make all of them. I'd like to just share with you how our materials are organized and what you'll be expected of in the first month, which is focused on T group facilitation. After I've gone through this, Alan is going to take us up to the website and show you exactly what's involved up there. First of all, I want to point out that every one of the online reading resources has 3 numbers assigned to it. The first number is which of the 4 competency areas. The second number has to do with which week you're expected to do the materials. And the third number is just a convenience in terms of the order in which we think it'll be easiest for you to do the materials. Now, this looks like a lot of reading. Most of these are just 1 or 2 pages. I do want to point out 2, what we call our foundational documents. One of them is 117, Levels of Interactions and Interventions in T Groups. The other one is 121, Stages in Group Development and Facilitated Interventions. Those are much more comprehensive documents, and we expect you to use them as a resource throughout the entire program. Those of you who have been through any earlier versions will find them very familiar, hopefully, because we've been using them for quite a while. We spent a lot of time developing those materials. So that's our numbering system. I would like to show you a copy of our study questions, so you just get an idea of what's involved. Okay, Alan, why am I not seeing share screen at the bottom? There we go. Okay, now I don't want to share Werner, I want to share this. Okay. No. Nobody can see this effective interventions, can you?
Yes, we can.
You can?
Yes.
Oh, excellent.
Yes.
All right, that's what I'm wanting you to see. What I wanted to show you was, here is an example of what you'll see at the end of a lot of these documents, study questions. What we'd like you to do is respond to the study questions by using the document number. So for example, 116 would be what you'd write, and then number 1, and you'd write down your answers for that, and number 2. We're going to ask that you share your study question thoughts with your learning partner, and then also that you keep a log of all of the materials that you write per month so that you can submit them to the staff. So you will have study questions that you're responding to. We are not expecting big, long theses, believe me. A few lines, a few bullets that let us understand that you're getting it and that you have some thoughts about this. That's what we're looking for. So we will be using your written responses as one of the things that we look at when we're assessing at the end of the program. So is everybody clear about those study questions? I can see a few of you, not all of you, while I've got this up. I'll pause to... Do you have any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Go.
Karen, do you want to, are we supposed to submit to you, before you said save it, are we submitting it on a weekly basis, or are we holding on to it into a different time?
We'd like to have you submit it by the month.
Monthly, okay.
So when you're finished with all of the work related to T group facilitation the first month, you would submit that. Then you do the same thing for the second month. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. And please do.
Sorry, Sue, I have a question. So we're submitting it by email or by posting it?
We will probably have you send them in by email as packages.
Why not post on the Learning Circle, then others can share in their answers as well?
Because they will be sharing on the Learning Circle, they will be sharing various things, their case study responses and some other things, Alan. What we want, though, is we want to have a set of responses from each individual as a separate entity.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then one final thing that I would like to share with you, and that is an example of the scenarios. For each of the first 3 months in the T group facilitation month, you will have 3 scenarios or case studies that look like this. There'll be just paragraphs with some questions after them. We will ask that you and your learning partner work on your best responses to those 3 case studies. And each learning partner set, there are 8 of you, each set will have one of these case studies that you will have the lead responsibility for in our second webinar. So I am now ready, I think. Let me just check. As the dean, I get to tell you all the hard stuff about what we're expecting. Then they get to do the fun stuff. Alan, I think I would like at this point for you to take, well, I'll just quickly, before you do that, just let me do one other thing before you do that, and that is to go back to the rest of the weeks. You see that you have quite a bit of reading to do the first week, the second week, not so much. The third week, you just do the scenarios. The fourth week, these 2 little documents are actually much more useful when we get to the face-to-face learning. But we thought you might want to read them ahead of time in order to do these 2 written reflections. And again, I want to stress, we're only talking about 1 to 2 or 3 pages. We do not want treatises. So what is your personal philosophy of T-group facilitation after this first month of study? And what do you see as your strengths and challenges in terms of the impacts that you're likely to have with your style, your temperament, when you are facilitating a T-group? So we have you really thinking this through this first month, a lot about how you do yourself as a T-group facilitator. And now, Alan, I would ask you to take us up to the site.
Okay, very good. As we're making the transition, I'm going to put my co-steward hat on for a moment. And I'm not going to go through at all, bore you with the whole history of training of T-group trainers in NTL. But just suffice it to say, I'm really speaking to the people who would like to become Human Interaction Lab trainers at NTL. We do take this extremely seriously. This is not a see one, do one, teach one kind of venture. So we are really interested. We are really careful and aware of the impact that we have and how close we skate, in many people's minds at least, to the line between therapist and facilitator. And we are working with people and their emotions and often transformative impacts, and we take that extremely seriously. So this is unlike almost all, if not all, of our other programs. This is one that you have to successfully complete, not just complete. And so we really take seriously your learning. It's not that we have a rigid way of doing things, or only one style fits all, but we take seriously our responsibility to make sure that you are ready to be put in front of a group of people with NTL's name on it. So I'm going to show you first the learning circle and how you get on there, and then show you the documents that we have on there. So hopefully you all have on your screen, if not now, shake your head if you don't have it, the portal, which is at the ntl.gjhost.com website. And this is the easiest way to get on there. There is a way through the NTL website, but it's much more convoluted. No www in front of it, just ntl.gjhost.com. Harry, I'm using your login because you and I had some email back and forth, and your name was on my mind. So that's what I'm using here. Put in your username and password. NTL members, past NTL members, Karen, Elena, you know that your login is your first initial plus your last name. New members and outside of NTL people who are on this, it's your last name plus your first initial. And then the same thing is your password, and make sure your password comes in as lowercase. You can put your username in any case, but your password must come in as lowercase. Hit log on, and for you new members, you will come to the screen that's coming up says we're waiting for NTL.GJ host down there at the bottom. Let's hope, there we go. You'll come up to a portal that will simply mention the TTG lab. For those of you who are current NTL members, you'll come to your normal learning circle with this down in the list of conferences at the bottom. Click on the TTG Lab 2017. Anybody not see that? I don't know how much lag time there is with this screen, so I want to make sure you're all up with me. So Sue, if you can't see it, let me know.
We can.
Okay, so you click on TTG Lab 2017. The little new in front of it means there's new information in it that I have not seen. So the way this site is broken up, this is called a conference. It is the home for the TTTG Lab 2017. It's broken out into items and then some sub-items. So there's item 1 through 9, as you can see down the left. And there are some sub-items for number 1 and some sub-items for number 7 and number 8. They're all linked, so you simply click on them. It tells you on the next column who wrote them. And the next column over, it will tell you if there's, so for instance, for me, I have not seen, or Harry has not seen, this is Harry's login, any of the information from number 3 down. He's seen all of the information in 1 and in 1.3 and in 1.4, but he's only seen up to number 7 in 1.2, so in 1.1. So that's telling him there's still more information that he hasn't seen. There's 7 more. He's seen up to 15. There's 7 more pieces of information there. There's a couple of ways around this. One of the, and you can just click around or you can move through it. You simply click on any one. So if Harry wants to see some of the items that he hasn't seen yet, he clicks on what I'd like to know. You'll notice that up to what he's seen, 15 items, there are 15 items. You can read any of them. You can respond down at the bottom. Some of them have pictures attached to them, which might take a moment to show up. There's Harry's own picture. And down at the bottom is your place to write in your own text. So those of you who've already been on here, you've already seen it, you've already put in your information. This will be the same thing you always see. If you want to attach a file, you can attach a file. If you've written up something, and you can either copy and paste it into this, or you can attach it as a Word document or PowerPoint or whatever it is you want to attach. If you've read something and you say, I want to go back to that, I don't have time to really deal with it now, but I know I want it to show up as new for me. I want to be reminded about it later. Then over here on the right, you click on Mark New, and that will mark it as if you hadn't seen it before. And so I'm going to try that here now. I hope you'll forgive me, Harry. I'm going to mark this as new. It'll take a moment to think about it. And when it comes back, we'll notice that those 3 responses down at the bottom now show up in red from where I clicked Mark New on. And that means those will still show up as new in the main listing. And so Harry will be reminded that he still wants to go back to that. It could be used for something you haven't had a chance to read, or something you know you want to respond to, but you just haven't had a chance to respond. You can't respond to it right now. So you mark it as new, and it'll show up as new. Otherwise, over time, there'll be so much information you'll get lost.
Alan, could you, Alan, this is Sue.
Yes.
Could you,
I hear you.
Yeah, could you put the, go down to the bottom to show what you're talking about, because you're still at the top of the screen. There.
I've scrolled down. So
red.
Yeah, so you can see the ones that are red from 1.1.13, 14, and 15 are in red, whereas 1.112 is still in blue, because I didn't mark that one as new. Now that I've seen them, they'll go back to being red. So when I click down here at the bottom in this green, go to TTG Lab 2017 Home, click on that, and I'll return back to the main listing of all items. The documents are in here as well. So for example, if I come here to the pre-work, here's the introducing the panelists from the video, and here's a link to to the video. I know, Harry, you had some trouble seeing it. Others, hopefully not so much. Up here at the top of the screen, starting with this compass rose, is what we call the breadcrumbs. And so we started in at the lab center when we first logged in. We got to the TTG lab 2017. We're now in item 1, and we're in breakout item 1.4. So I can go back to any of them. They're all links. And I could go back to the main screen by clicking there, and I have returned. Within competency 1, facilitation of T groups, here's an overview of activities for the first competency area. If I want to read that, I simply click on it. And depending upon what kind of browser you use, it may open it up in a new window. It may save it first, and then you have to go open it up. That'll depend on the browser that you are using. And I noticed, by the way, like some chatter coming in. So Sue or Rihanna or Kathleen, if you could look at the chat, and if there's something I need to respond to, I'm happy to do that.
I just asked you to make sure that you mark Harry's 7 items new again.
Okay, thank you. That was this one. I think I'll start. Don't know how many are 7. I'll start it from there, Harry, and you can skip over what you've already read. Thank you, Kathleen.
Alan, can I ask you a question about the site?
Absolutely, absolutely.
As I clicked around, I noticed the mark new, but I didn't notice any kind of email alerts or any way that when I'm not logged into the site that it might tell me there's new activity. Does that exist?
We have notifications. That's something we can ask about that. We can set up the system to send notifications that there is new material on a daily basis, a weekly basis, certain days of the week. Our experience with people using this in a concentrated way like this is that it's really just better if you would just make it part of your, this is a class you're in, make it part of your daily practice. So once a day, twice a day, whatever works for you, go to the website, maybe make it a favorites on your browser list, and just go there, and you'll see you'll see if anything's new. So it takes 10 seconds to find out there's nothing new. But this is the kind of thing where there are 16 of you, there's going to be constant churn, constant new things. So you'll be working with your partner. So the notifications may just get to be overkill.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
But we can certainly add in notifications if we need to. So here's, for example, competency 1 item, competency 1 T group facilitation, week 1 readings and study questions. Here's each one of these links. Is a link. Each one of these items is a link that uses the numbering system that Sue showed you. You click on any one, and it comes up with the document. You can save it. You can read it. You can create a response here at the bottom, and as well as you'll have study questions and things to do with that. Any other questions?
Yes, Alan. I would like
yes.
you. I'd go back up, please, to T group facilitation, and now go down to competency 1 in terms of responses to T group scenario.
Okay, I'll be right there.
And what you will see here is that in 7.1 through 7.9, there are spaces, there are breakouts, and we ask that you and your learning partner decide together what you want to put as your response to one of the to each of the scenarios. And then whoever has the lead, let's say I'm a learning partner for the scenario 5, I would look at all of what the 7 other learning partners plus myself and my partner did, and be ready to do a quick report out on what some of the answers were when we have our second webinar on T group facilitation. So when you see breakouts like that, please just put response to scenario 1 and then what your response is. Okay?
But put it in it. But put your response in the correct breakout. So if you're responding to scenario 1, put it in the 7.1 breakout. If you're responding to scenario 7, put it in the 7.7 breakout.
Great.
And you'll be assigned a particular scenario with your learning partner to Honcho to be.
Alan,
to be
we have
in charge
just
of.
1 or 2 more
Sure.
minutes, so let's see if anybody has any questions.
Sure. Let me just say, well, it's I am always available by email. I can't promise an immediate response, but I am here to support you in the technology part. If you have a question, please email me and we'll do our best to sort it out.
And later on today's webinar, you will see that each of you has been assigned one of the 3 staff as a coach and your learning partner. And you, of course, are welcome to be in touch with us as well if you have any questions or concerns. Okay, Alan, thank you so much for the overview.
You're welcome.
And now, Rihanna? Are you there, Rihanna?
It doesn't look like Rihanna's on anymore.
No, I'm on. I was just muted.
Oh.
Sue, I asked if you could put the slide up.
There she is.
I can indeed. Hold on just a minute.
Did you change the slide, Alan, or?
I have it.
The slide with the groupings, this slide, no.
Oh,
so
okay.
We need to change Richard in number 1. That's Fadi.
Okay.
So we're going to give you a chance to talk to each other now. So these are the small groups. We've pre-assigned them. The first group, Pietro, will be working with Anita, Becky, and Fadi. In the second group, John, Saule, Karen, and Timothy. The third group, Kostin, Carla, Deepak, and Julie. And the fourth group, Werner, Harry, and Elena.
And yeah.
And then we have a task we're going to assign you. Alan is going to put each of the groups in its own discussion room. So while he's doing that, I'll go over the task with you. We want you to talk about the videotaped interview of the T group trainers that you watched in preparation for this class, for this first webinar. So just as you think back over that, as you listen to these very senior NTL, very experienced, I should say, NTL T group trainers and Human Interaction Lab staff people, what did you hear that excited or amused you? What did you hear that surprised you? And what advice did you hear that you want to keep in mind? So if the 3 or 4 of you, depending on your group, if you could just chat about that a little bit, you'll have, is it 20 minutes for the task, Sue, or 10 minutes?
Yep. It's 20 minutes altogether, Rihanna.
Okay, so you'll have 10 minutes in your small group. We'll give you a 2-minute warning when the time is almost up. And then we'll have about 10 minutes in the large group again to share. And we would like you to just kind of, we'll do a report out from the groups and go question by question. So we'd like to hear from each group something about your responses to each of the questions. So have I explained that clearly? Anyone have a problem? Okay, and Alan, can you go ahead and put them in the group?
Okay.
Just again, never
I'm
mind.
going to put you in the. I'm going to put you in the groups. When you get there, if you need help, you'll see a thing where you can call for help if you have a question or something. So please use that button when you need to. Here you go. You'll have to join your breakout group. You've been invited.
And Alan, can you tell when they've joined? Like if there's anyone who hasn't joined? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I can. They've all joined. Nope,
okay,
Elena
great.
has not yet joined. I'm not sure. Yep, there she goes. They're all in there, and you all can visit the groups.
How?
Anytime you want.
How?
At the bottom of your screen, when you see breakout rooms,
Yeah, I don't have breakout room, and it might be because I'm not a co-host. I'm not sure.
Yes, you are.
oh, well, she was a co-host, but then I think she may have left. Did you have to leave and come back, Rihanna?
No,
or were you there?
it says
I
co-host.
just didn't scroll all the way up.
We're all three co-hosts, but maybe I can't see it because of the sharing.
Yeah, I can't see it.
So I'll say stop share. And
Well,
yeah,
what I'm going to do is I'm going to make Sue. I'm going to make you a host rather than the co-host, and see if that shows up for you. Maybe it's only the host who can go there. You're shaking your head.
I don't see it at the bottom. No.
Okay, so I'm going to make you a host. I'm going to make you the host. Now it should. Yeah, I don't see it down there.
Now I can go in.
So
Yes.
it's only the host who can go in.
And there
It's
can only be
the
one
who can
host?
Control breakout rooms. Correct.
And there can
You
only
have
be one
co-hosts,
host?
but not. Correct. You can have co-hosts, but not. There are only one host.
So make Rihanna the host for this, since it's her piece of the program.
You have to do that, since you're now the host.
Oh, okay. So I
Go up
hit,
to, show the participant list. Go up to Rihanna's name.
I've already done it.
And you'll. Great. There she is. Boom. Rihanna is the host.
Okay,
So
great.
Rihanna,
And then,
you should see breakout rooms at the bottom.
well, I have a big screen up that says what the breakout rooms are. Ellen, is there a way that you have of giving them a 2-minute signal? I've got my timer on.
You'd have to just go into each room and tell them 2 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
It says join. See where it says join, Rihanna?
Yeah.
Now they cannot hear us right now.
Correct.
Any questions, concerns, comments?
Well, when we put them into, are we putting them into learning partners today? Yeah, they're checking in. So what are we going to do about Julie with Richard being absent?
I think one of us should talk with her. And I can do that if you want.
I'm willing to do that if you want me to, Sue. If you want to do it, fine, but I'm happy to do it.
Okay. And then what we will need to do is have her arrange to have a follow-up email conversation and phone chat with Richard. Maybe put the burden.
So which one of you am I putting in with Julie?
Rihanna.
Rihanna, okay. You can, just so you know, by the way, for webinars that I'm not on, when you're the host and you are setting, you can set up the breakout rooms while other things are going on. Just don't launch them.
Why does Pietro,
so that's what I did.
Hold on a minute, why does Pietro say that same with me in terms of?
Yeah, I was going to ask him what he meant.
Okay, you're asking him? Good.
Well, no, it's like, well,
it was a public
when I
message.
saw it, it was 8:36.
Got it.
So, I have a request. Rihanna, could you make me temporarily host so I can see what that looks like in terms of the breakouts? Didn't work.
I'm just doing it.
Okay.
Let's see. I've got Kathleen up. How do I bless her as host?
Go to her name and you'll see a thing that says more to the right.
More, that's right. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
And just so you all know, just to remind we are still recording.
Then don't say anything stupid then. Make host. All right. I have passed the comm back to you, Dr. Moore.
Thank you, Dr. Brown.
You can just call me Miss Kathy, Dr. Brown.
Miss Kathy, Dr. Brown. Wow, okay. You're tough, but I'll do it.
The Right Reverend Miss Kathy Dr. Brown.
Yeah.
Now we could stop recording the next time when we have them in small groups, right?
Might be best knowing us.
What I don't know is if that turns into 2 different recordings that people would then have to.
I see. Best to keep it on then.
I know.
Yeah.
We mute ourselves, then we won't say anything inappropriate.
At least that anybody can hear.
Okay.
Yeah, the only public message that Pietro could have, if he was responding to a message, was Karen's message that Richard said he couldn't come. So I'm assuming that was he was doing in chat rather than saying something when you asked a question.
How are we doing on time, Rihanna?
2 minutes and 45 seconds until the signal. And then they have 2 more minutes.
My assumption is that some of them may not have even watched the video because of the lateness of registration. So we'll see whether that's accurate as an assumption.
Right.
Hopefully.
And I don't know if Harry got it working. He said he was going to be back in his office or something, and he was going to see if he could make it work then.
Oh, he couldn't get it to work. Huh.
It was herky. I thought I sent you all an email about that. He
No,
said it was
yeah.
very herky jerky, and
I had the same problem.
Oh.
Took me like twice as long to watch it.
Oh dear.
I think it's like a bandwidth matching issue with some computers and that video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See how smart I can be about.
That was very well done.
We.
Well, that's
that's the only really bandwidth intensive thing we have at this moment, at least. So, and
Yeah.
I will. I've never posted something to YouTube before. I will try posting to YouTube and see if it can make it available as a link. That might
would be
work
great.
better.
That would really be good. Thank you, Ellen.
And then Alan, after I've given them the signal, and it's time to shut down the breakout rooms or close them. Is there a way you do that globally, or do I need to give host?
Yep. On the list. Just look at the breakout rooms list. You'll see. I think it's at the bottom, maybe at the top. Close all, close or something.
I think it said close all rooms.
Oh yeah. Okay, great.
And they'll all just magically reappear here.
Oh, and here's a message, broadcast a message to all. So I can just break in and give them the 2-minute thing.
There you go.
So they're in this for 10 minutes and then they come back?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I give them the signal, it's 8 minutes, and then they have 2 more minutes to wrap it up.
It hasn't been 8 minutes?
I mean, it's 8 minutes in 12, 11, 10. My forebears were German, so I'm nothing if not precise. Oh, shut up. Oh, okay. 2 minutes.
Now, do they see that?
Well, I'm not sure.
It comes up as a chat. It'll blink something. If people see it, they'll see it. It's just like being in a room where you call out 2 more minutes and half the groups don't listen and half the groups hear you. And some will be surprised when you recall them.
Why did Rihanna's picture just clip off?
She was, I don't know. She's gone. That's why.
Oh,
I
dear.
see me. I see Kathleen. Oh, she may have gone into a room. She may have joined a room.
Oh, maybe she's going around.
But
I believe that's what it is. Yeah.
because otherwise we would have no
Otherwise,
host.
there she's back.
So
Where'd you go?
yeah, I just learned.
I can't hear you.
Am I muted? I'm not muted.
There you go.
Now we hear you.
What did you
Okay.
learn?
That when you type something into, when you're host and you type something into that little message, it doesn't go into the chat. It shows up on their screens. So they
Cool.
see it immediately. So, you don't have to go around to the different breakout rooms.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
But why did you just disappear for a minute?
Zoom did that.
Because she was making.
Did you go into one?
I did go into
Did you go
a
into one of
breakout.
the rooms?
Okay.
Yeah.
Groovy.
So you have to talk to Dr. Zoom about that. I'm a humble servant.
And Rihanna, when you're done, when you recall them, would you please turn me back to being the host so I can start setting up the pair breakouts?
Okay.
So Alan, you can set them up, but then you have to do something else to send them there. Is that what?
In the window, it just says something like launch rooms or start breakouts, or there's a green button that basically is a go button.
Okay.
So I'm just going to click on close all rooms.
Right, and then
And
make me
they'll
host.
come back to the main screen, and then I pick up and I'm making you the host again.
Great.
And we are at 10, 9, 8.
My grandson would be pleased. He loves countdown.
Okay, I did that, but I don't see people coming back.
There's a minute countdown, so they have an extra minute.
Elena.
So we should
I want to go back to my group.
I'm sure you do.
Let me go back. How do I
There
go
is-
back?
Can't happen.
And I clicked, and it brought me here.
You know, it's like going to heaven for a minute, then you have to come back.
Alan, can I get
you got 25. Excuse me?
can I get back into my small group?
No.
They're supposed to
No,
be coming
we've
back.
closed them. There's a minute grace period
Well,
where
this-
you could have stayed, but
This is good.
I can't put you back because we actually closed them.
Okay.
All right, 7, 6, 5. They're all coming back now.
Sorry, Harry and Werner. I clicked on something that took me out of the room. But I think we're okay, right?
Yes,
Yes.
you are supposed to.
Okay. Sue, could you put those discussion questions back up?
I surely could.
Thank you so much. Welcome back, everyone. We've heard from one of you that she would rather still be with her group than back with us. I don't know about the rest of you.
We're trying not to take it personally.
Rihanna, I have a question. Do we actually need to have the questions up so I can kind of be with people while they're talking? Is that possible, or?
Yeah, I need to have them up, Karen.
Okay.
Okay, so we have almost 10 minutes now to share the kinds of things that you talked about in your small groups, and we'll go question by question, and I'll just go around from the different groups. I'll just control this. So what did you hear that excited or amused you in that videotape interview? And let's start with group 1.
Group 1.
Yeah.
Sorry, who was in group 1? Just
Oh, okay. Alan, do you have that list handy, or?
Pietro, Anita, Becky, and Fadi.
Yes.
Okay, Pietro's group. What did you hear that excited or amused you?
So first of all, I must confess that I'm a bad guy that in the group had not had the chance to look at the video. So just gonna report that there was something about the dynamics happening in the group that was exciting to those in our group who managed to see it, and especially the differences in the level of enthusiasm. And with some fun, there was a moment that was somebody jumped on a chair. So the kind of energy that the four of us did not experience in the group. That's something that drive our attention and enthusiasm in the video. That's one I named.
Okay, and so that makes you really want to watch the video, right, Pietro? Who's
Rihanna, sorry, I must say I had a difficult time seeing the video. It took double time downloading, and like instead of having half hour, I spent an hour between pausing and listening to it, pausing. So it was a bit challenging just to focus on the video. I don't know, is that something technical or?
Well, we think there's probably a little bit of a bandwidth issue for some of you. So let's just get through the questions and do the best we can, and you know, and maybe you can see it later or on another computer. How about the second group? Anything exciting or amusing? And who's the first person in that, Alan?
So
John.
John.
So this is. Yeah, so this is Timothy. I guess I'm kind of speaking for group two. Just kind of we all picked questions to have a representative. I think collectively we like we were blown away kind of by not only the experience of the participants in terms of doing their groups, but the passion that they still have about the groups. You know, kind of we all sort of kind of resonated with that, and kind of thought that was exciting.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Timothy. Group three, exciting or amusing? Who's the first person there?
Costin, Carla, Deepak, Julie.
Costin, Deepak, Carla, and Julie. Anyone? Question one.
So this is Deepak.
Deepak.
Hi. And what we found, we talked a lot about what excited us, and it includes some of the elements that were shared by others. We also talked about the ever-evolving role of facilitator in T groups and the exciting possibility that we could actually add to it. And also we found exciting about the experience that was present in the room. And one of us also talked about how we felt when we saw that, you know, the kind of experience that was there in the room, and felt a little.
What was, Deepak, what was one of the feelings that got named? Just one.
That's the feeling that I'm trying to. Carla, what was the feeling that got named?
Sure. The feeling I said was intimidated.
Okay. That was the feeling that we talked about.
Yeah, I hear you. Good. Thank you. And one more group for this first question.
Yeah, similar things we said. Also specifically about Howard Lamb. We talked about how we enjoyed his playfulness, but also willingness to experiment. You know, he has a lot of experience, and he's seen many different modes and ways of doing T groups.
Yeah.
So talked about that, and then the overall passion, of course, of the T group leaders who have been probably in there hundreds of T groups, but then also their belief in, you know, that it can transform people's lives.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you. Okay, question two, and we're going to go in reverse order. So Werner or someone else in your group, what did you hear? Did you hear anything that surprised you?
Yeah, there were a few things, like Patricia openly, you know, talked about her huge failure in the first T group. She was that was extremely refreshing that, you know, you can talk about that kind of failure, because obviously she learned the big time, more than probably from a really well running T group. And then
okay, let me jump to the next group, Werner, so we can stay within our 10 minutes. Thank you.
Sure.
Deepak, I think it was you. Do you want to report, or someone else in your group about any surprises?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
One surprise for our group was there were two of us that both had Barbara Brewer as our T group facilitator. So that was a, just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, thank you. And then, so going back to group 2, and I forget who was reporting there. Who was that?
John here in group 2. We had 3, luckily, because 2 have already been taken. The Patricia's failure, we wrote down the standing chair that Patricia mentioned. The third was we were surprised about a facilitator taking off their facilitator hat and becoming a participant.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We'll be talking more about those kinds of things. But yeah, some of your comments are making me reflect.
Hello?
Are we locked up?
Are we locked?
I'm here.
I can hear you, but I can't hear Rihanna.
I can't hear Rihanna.
Sounds like Rihanna's having some trouble.
Rihanna's frozen.
Okay.
So perhaps we could hear from group 1.
Yeah, this is Anita. One of the things I think that surprised was the shift in length of duration from, in the early days, T groups were longer, and so we had a little discussion about how, now they're down to 1 week. So that was
Alan, do you want to take them through the third question since Rihanna is still locked?
Okay. Yeah, let's start with group 3 then. Kostin, Carla, Deepak, Julie. What advice did you hear? What's a piece of advice, so we stay within our 10 minutes, that you want to keep in mind?
This is Kostin. Well, we discussed about how important it is to trust the process, and but mostly how important it is to observe and listen, and to learn the theory, and also to hold on to our consultants or facilitator role that we are all used to.
Great. How about group 4, Werner, Harry, Elena?
Yeah, so we know the 3 levels, very important. So probably it's true for several people that the personal, the individual, and the interpersonal level is on our mind. And then at least certainly true for me that I would then forget the group level.
Ooh.
Great, thank you. How about group 1, Pietro, Anita, Becky, Fadi?
I think
any one of you.
About. Go ahead, Fadi.
I'll go. One thing is there was a note that was shared about the fact that the role of the consultant is not about himself, but it is about the group. Everything that is done is on the service of the group and not for anything else in this.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. We hear from all 4 groups? I think so.
I think Alan,
back.
Rihanna's back.
Yeah, Alan,
Great.
thank you for picking up for me. I just got dropped off the call. I mean, that happens. But we have.
I think we haven't spoken as a group yet.
Solid?
Yes.
Solid?
Yes, we actually. I mean, there was a lot of advice already mentioned, but one which we think worth mentioning is the use of self. How important is the self-reflection of a facilitator prior to the T group. So that's one of the advices which we picked up in addition to those which mentioned.
Wonderful. Is that all the groups for the third question?
Yes.
Fantastic, fantastic. So now we have collective learning. Very, very nice. And we're within our 10 minutes, Sue, and back to you.
Thank you. It's so, I'm so sorry that some of you have had a hard time watching the video because it's just so priceless. And I do hope that Alan is going to see if he can post it on YouTube and make it a smoother opportunity. I want to spend just a couple of minutes talking about our evaluation process. And I want to start by reminding you about this. Many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with this notion of the zones model. And when does learning take place? Learning takes place when we're uncomfortable. not necessarily when we're comfortable. In fact, when we're in our comfort zone, usually no learning is taking place. We know what we know. So we're telling ourselves what we know. It's when we step out of that comfort zone and into a middle zone and we experience either some moderate or minor distress or even eustress because we're so excited. So it could be an ouch or it could be an aha, but that's when learning is taking place. And then the outer zone, which is the panic or distress zone, no learning's taking place. And those of us who have done a lot of T groups have certainly had experience where people have been in the distressed zone. We do not want people to be there, but we also don't equate, and I want to say this twice, we do not equate safety with comfort. We do not equate safety with comfort. Comfort is not what we're going for. Safety is. And we will talk a lot, both this first month and in our actually every month, about how does a facilitator create a safe environment, but also encourage people to stretch themselves. And we're going to try to model that as staff for you. Because as has been said by Alan, it is a tough program. We know that, and we want to be there to support you. We don't want you spending any time in the panic zone, but we're real happy to have you in the yellow zone of stretching yourselves. So one of the things that we want you to be really familiar with is the matrix. Some of you have already seen this. Having trouble again. Now you should be able to see it.
Yeah. While you're bringing it up, Sue, if I could just say that in terms of the safety doesn't equate with comfort, another way to say that is discomfort does not mean unsafe. So participants in a tube often experience discomfort. That doesn't mean they're unsafe.
Right, okay. So I think you can all see this. You all have a copy of it on the Learning Circle. We would love...
I'm still seeing the zones model, Sue.
Oh dear, okay, hold on a minute.
Make sure you unshare first, stop the sharing. There you go.
Now,
then you can share it.
Now you got it?
Great.
Okay, so here's we've spent a lot of time fine-tuning our competency descriptors. These are this is the skeleton for the program. And so we take these very seriously. We would like you to take them seriously. And hopefully you had an opportunity to look at the first set of descriptors for the first competency. These are the 9 items that we ask you to self-assess on, and we will ask you how you're doing on them, and we will talk with you both during the face-to-face time and at the end of the week when we meet with each of you separately for a half an hour to go over the entire 4 areas with you and tell you what we see as your strengths and your areas for development. As I said earlier, we will also have on the matrix down at the bottom a place to sign. The dean will sign if you have been assessed as ready to be a trainer apprentice if you're an NTL member. So we do ask that you have this filled out, and we do understand some of you registered very late. We're going to ask you at this point to share with your learning partners, which we will talk about. We're going to ask you to get into, oh, I'm sorry, I should just stop right there, shouldn't I? I'm sorry, Kathleen. Be in my big thumbs.
Wait a minute.
I will have you take over. I will put up the PowerPoint that shows what you need to go with.
I'm trying.
What? Would you like this up now?
I can't unmute.
You're unmuted.
You're unmuted.
Oh, what am I looking at?
We hear you. We hear you.
Well, yeah, I have a little thing. Okay, before we do that, did you go over the expectations for participants, Sue? Did I miss that?
I just very quickly had done that at the start. Let me just say that we are assuming that unless you're a speed reader or decide not to take this seriously, that you're probably going to spend 4 to 5 hours a week working on these materials, both your reading and your reflection. If you're struggling and finding you're spending a lot more time than that, we'd like you to talk with us about that, okay? Because I'm the first one to admit we can be overachievers. Okay, Kathleen?
Okay, great.
All right, so now I will go back and share the screen that you want to talk to.
Actually, I'd like that not up right now.
Okay, then I will stop sharing it.
So as you can see from this, we're about to introduce you to each other as learning partners. And what we wanted to talk about before we do that is why we assigned you as opposed to allowing you to select your own learning partners. And basically, we're modeling what happens when you staff an HI. You don't get to select who you're going to work with. In the old days, I think people did get to do that. But now what we do is we assign for maximum diversity. And what we did when we assigned you to your learning partners is that we assigned for maximum difference to the degree possible. So that's why you're assigned as opposed to having choice in the matter. And we really hope that we made good choices and it ends up being fulfilling for you. So now you're going to have the opportunity to actually check in with each other and talk about what strengths and development needs you have based upon your self-assessment, whether you did it already or you can do it on the fly, what you're excited about, and then scheduling your work with each other together. So now, if we can put up that slide. So we have assigned, you'll see that you have your coaches' names and then your learning partners. And we'll talk about the scenarios that you're assigned to in a moment. So we have Karen working with Werner, Elena and Fadi, Savale and Harry, Carla with Pietro, Julie and Richard. And for today, Julie, we'll have you working with Rihanna, Becky with Deepak, Anita with John, and Timothy with, is it Kostin or Costin?
It's Costin.
Costin, okay. All right. So everyone clear? So again, we're going to then have you check in pairs. Alan's going to put you in a room together. And can we have that? Okay. You're going to look at a strength and development need from your self-assessment, whether that assessment occurred before today or not, in terms of T group facilitation, what you're excited about, and then scheduling your work together for case studies and sharing of reflections. And you have about 8 minutes to do that. Okay? So Alan, can you put them in their groups?
It is so.
Well, are there any, is it done?
They're joining.
Okay.
Julie, if you could please join with, there you go, they're on.
Fadi's picture's now showing.
So
I'm still here.
Fadi should be with Elena. What happened? With Elena.
Let me make sure. Oh, there we go. Let me see if I can add them in. How do we add somebody in now? I don't want to join it. I'm going to, what can I do? I'm going to go in and ask, what's the best thing? I can't, trying to figure out a way on the fly. I can't get you in there without, oh, here, I can assign you up here. Here we go. Assign you to breakout room number 2. There you go. Bye.
Bye.
Except he's still there.
into it, but he's here now, so I'm going to leave.
Thank you, Alan.
Sure.
Well,
But I think we're good with time, so they'll have enough
Yeah.
time to, because remember, we want them to all have a chance to check out and for you to tell them about the second one. Oh, we have to go back and do the scenarios.
Right.
Okay, so should I put that one up for now?
You mean to let them see what they look like?
No, to
assign them.
Yeah.
No, that's part of what I'm going
You
to
already
do.
did that.
But they didn't hear it. They need to, I think, be
Okay.
reinforced.
Hear
Yes.
that they've been assigned a scenario?
Yes.
Yes,
And
I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think, Kathleen, what I probably should do is I will send out an email following this to clarify what it is they're supposed to do for the second webinar. I won't do it right away. I'll do it, in about 2 weeks.
Yes. Is that posted on the Learning Circle?
What I was thinking of doing is I was to see if I could post their names, edit the thing so I could post their names with their assigned scenario.
That'd be good too.
Yes, from this slide that we're looking at now.
Yeah, exactly.
Alan, why don't we put up this whole set of slides also?
Carla, somebody did ask about it, yeah.
So could you do that after the webinar? You got the latest.
Sure.
So we need to be done by 9:30, right? 12:30?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so if I give a 1-minute warning.
That'll actually be a 2-minute.
Okay.
Where has Rihanna gone? Oh, I keep forgetting.
She's NTL Institute.
I know. By the way, Kathleen, I thought what you added about the rationale, I had forgotten. I'm very glad you did.
She's good that way.
You mean anal?
No, I mean picking up on the things that I forget about. Let's say they're a well-behaved group. Everybody has a different name. This is very helpful.
They did that just for you.
I appreciate it.
I'm so sorry Richard had to miss today.
Yeah.
Me too.
And Alan, how will they access the recorded webinars if they need to?
We'll send them a link.
Okay.
It takes a little bit for Zoom to generate it.
All right.
We'll get the link and we can.
I will prepare an email.
We can't just post a link on the Learning Circle?
We certainly can.
We can, but I want to do a separate email for Richard expressing a welcome and telling him we're sorry we missed today. He missed today.
Mm-hmm.
The link there. So I'll prepare it, and then when I get the link from you, I'll add it to it, okay?
Can you give them a 1 minute warning, Alan?
Oh, sorry.
Can you give them a 1 minute warning?
Yes, I can. I just need to do that. Give them a 2 minute warning, which means they'll.
Well, they have 1 more minute to talk because then they'll be.
Give them a
yanked out of
1
the
minute
room.
warning.
1 minute warning.
Okie doke. It is done.
What was weird is while I was talking to them, I couldn't see my face. So
Yeah, I haven't been able to see most of the time. I don't know.
You can off to the right if you there's a little bar. By default, it's minimized, but you can add in the faces. There's 3 levels. Nobody, 3 or 4. Just the person who's speaking. I think you can add 3 or 4 people.
Oh, I know
Or
it,
have it
yeah.
fill the screen.
that kind of goes away with sharing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elena sent me a message saying, pull this thing down, we can't see you.
But they actually could if they did that thing off to the right.
Hmm.
To the right at the top, right?
Top right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, we're not going to go
Let me know
over
when
the webinar 2 homework. We're just going to tell them that there is pre-work required, correct?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
We're not going to go over the pre-work that's required. We're just letting them know that there is pre-work.
No, that's about the scenarios. Do you want me to do that?
No. Where it says check out in large group, a
Yes.
reminder about webinar 2
Yes.
that there's pre-work required.
Right, and the pre-work is the scenarios that they are ready to report on one of the scenarios.
Okay. No, I can do it. Unless you want to.
And that they have they've done all of the scenarios and they're ready to take a lead on one. And then the question is, does somebody want a couple of bonus points by taking a second scenario?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Let me know when I should close the rooms.
No.
There'll be a minute lag.
I'm saying I can do that, Sue, but would you rather have the
No.
last word and do it?
No, that's fine.
You sure?
Oh, all right. Well, I will. All right. I'll do that as a closing. You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah.
They got 44 seconds. It's going to have to be a quick checkout.
Kathleen, you're going directly to I'm leaving with?
Yes.
All right, then I should probably speak first.
Why?
Because shouldn't that be the last thing?
Well.
Oh, no, go ahead. You do it. You do it.
In a way, yes, but this is how we actually had the reminder being last.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. We were trying to follow instructions and come back.
Good people.
Thank you.
We didn't know if there was a prize or anything.
There is. Did you get it?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Now I'm back.
Everybody's back.
Sue, could you actually stop sharing your screen?
Sure.
easier to see everyone then. Oh, okay. Is everyone back? Is your learning partner back?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, we hope that was invigorating and fascinating for you. So where we're going next is we're going to actually have a checkout, and then Sue is going to, as Dean, gets the last word, and we'll talk about the scenarios. Now, Sue, am I doing the arm twist, the persuasion for the 9th scenario, or are you doing that?
I'll do it. Yeah.
Okay, great. So in terms of our checkout, which is a little premature before we actually check out, we're asking you to say, I'm leaving this webinar with a sense of, and whatever it is that comes up for you. And so I will call on each person and then have you address that. So I'm leaving this webinar with a sense of, and let's start with Carla.
Thank you. I am leaving this webinar with a sense of excitement.
Oh, thank you. Pietro.
I'm leaving this webinar with a sense of curiosity for the great learning that this community can bring.
Great, thank you. Becky.
Anticipation.
Great. Deepak.
Curiosity.
John.
Wonder.
Werner.
Gratitude.
Okay. Harry.
Value add.
Timothy.
Enthusiasm.
Great. Saule. You're muted.
Assurance with
Thank
in good hands.
Okay. Elena.
Connection.
I'm sorry?
Connection.
Great. Anita.
Belonging.
Karen.
Excitement and looking forward to learning.
Okay. Badi.
Humility.
Julie, you're muted.
Positive discomfort.
And Colston.
Excitement and curiosity.
Great. Did I get everyone?
I think so.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think, actually, I want to include the faculty on this too. So, Rihanna. You're muted.
Excitement.
Alan.
We did it. We're launched.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sue.
I don't have words. I am just full. Very, very, very full.
Great. And I'm thrilled.
That's a good word. I'll take that one too.
All right. So I'm passing it to you, Sue.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's just such an excitement to see this come to life. We have worked for over a year on designing and developing this. So it's so exciting. I just want to take one more second to say to you all, please note which scenario you have the lead for as a pair of learning partners. I will be sending out an email within the next week and a half or so, telling you what it is that we're expecting for the second webinar. But before I go, I know you're a bunch of hotshots. You've already proved that. But which two of you are the biggest hotshots who want to take on a second scenario as the lead? You're going to do all of the scenarios, all of you, in terms of your own responses, but I'm talking about taking a lead in the discussion on the next webinar. So let me see who quickly wants to do that. And do I see hands? I'm stopping the sharing, and I'm looking for 2 hands.
All right, Julie.
So Julie, you realize you're volunteering for you and Dick. He will appreciate that, I'm sure.
He might not be fond of me for doing that, but here we go.
Well, thank you all so very much. It has been so exciting to see you all here today and to be working with you. I really do see us being colleagues on a journey together. So Be well and work hard, and we'll see you at the next webinar.
What's the second scenario, Sue?
Namaste.
Bye-bye.
Second
Thanks.
scenario.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.